Yes, North American servers had issues yesterday. We'll talk about that. A little update to 11.1.5, and then I'm diving straight into the Mythic Plus statistics. We got to look at the numbers, see what the current, metas are, how everyone's doing, which dungeons are the easiest. I'm going to cover it all here in a second, so buckle up, boys, and pucker up. We're going to dive into the WoW news. Here we go. North American server issues disconnected a bunch of players across Blizzard games yesterday. I wasn't playing because my son, as many of you know, was sick as shit if you're in the Discord, so I didn't get online yesterday, but evidently a lot of people couldn't get online in the North American side. I don't know if you guys were having issues yesterday, but there were tons of disconnects, not just across World of Warcraft, but Overwatch, Diablo, Hearthstone, and Heroes of the Storm as well. I looked for Blizzard to kind of release a statement on this. They didn't. I checked the CS servers and stuff like that on Twitch or on Twitter. Nothing there. So Blizzard kind of let this one just go unacknowledged, but it seems like they fixed it from what I've seen. The servers have stabilized, so this is no longer an issue, but something that needed to be reported on nonetheless. 11.1.5, a corruption. We know it's coming back, enchants, but Blizzard's looking at moving them to non-weapons, considering things like Death Knights, right? I mean, we have our rune forging and stuff. You put a corruption enchant on a weapon, well, we can't really use that. It kind of leaves us out of the loop there. So Blizzard's looking at where they're going to put these things. Shit, put it on a ring or something. I don't care. But yeah, leave it off the weapon. As me who plays a Death Knight, I prefer to not have any enchant on a weapon because I like to rune forge things. It's my free enchant, and I don't want to get rid of that thing. Plus, it's extremely powerful, so I got to have it. It was a launcher DDoS attack. Oh, damn. Oh, wow, that's crazy. Okay, Mythic Plus. Here we go. Let's get into some Mythic Plus stuff real quick here. Blizzard nerfing the shit out of Mythic Plus. Oh, my God. Another one. Another one. Yeah, Uvo, thank you for the sub, man. 4 months, 5 total, 4 in a row. Kicking off that hype train. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Coming in, Death Knight of our Scourge. Good morning, Rutari. What's up? So, yeah. As I was saying, Blizzard nerfing the shit out of Mythic Plus dungeons again. Cinderbrew Meadery, the Motherlode, the Rookery, and Operation Floodgate all seeing nerfs to their bosses and different mechanics here. We see a bunch of different stuff, different bosses getting a little bit easier, different, mobs looking a little bit easier. So, again, more hotfixes. Blizzard wants this Mythic Plus season to be easier. Now, is it easier? We're going to look at those stats here in a second. The Race to World First, also a Mythic thing, as you can say. It's on, right? And the One-Armed Bandit is now down by Liquid. They have taken the lead. But what's crazy about this Mythic race is we have seen the hardest 4th boss ever made. Yes, that's right. Styx Bunkenjunker gets the title of the hardest 4th boss ever made, as only 6 guilds have been able to clear it after 9 days. So, we haven't ran this guy on Mythic, obviously, but he is a one-shot killer. So people have been dying to this guy non-stop. Look at the numbers here. We look at past numbers of the 4th boss. This guy is absolutely slaughtering people. Who is this? Who's one of the worst here? Nurbar Palace, Rashanin had 473 kills. That looks like the highest. Battle for Dazara lore, we have Opulence, 455 kills. This guy absolutely slaughtering everybody by this day. 4th boss kill as of March 13th. Only 6 guilds have killed Mythic Styx Bunkenjunker, currently marking this as the 4th hardest boss in recent history. There have been 9 full days since the raid's release. We've compiled the number of kills of raids and Raider.io progress that we've seen and compared to this. So, yeah, interestingly enough, this boss, as hard as he is, got nerfed into the ground the other day. 33% reductions to 2 of his abilities. That's not just a nerf. That's a freaking massive change to the fight. Territorial Bombshell becomes unrooted at 80% health on all difficulties now. Also, Territorial Bombshell health reduced by 10%. So those bombshells were absolutely wiping them. Big nerfs to this boss. Also, there was a big nerf to Muggsy on Mythic difficulty as well. We see recently that there was also a nerf to Bugsy on normal and heroic as well. So Blizzard doing their typical thing, overtune just a little bit, nerfing things on the back end, trying to make sure that this progression happens at a normal rate. So Sam's going through puberty, or yodeling class is paying off. Yeah, it's both. It's both, definitely. I'm definitely going through a second puberty. And then here we go. So those nerfs are in, everything's happening, but how's the Mythic Plus season looking, right? Season 2 is supposed to be the easier season. Supposed to be the season where Blizzard listened to feedback, and now we're going to have a better time in Mythic Plusing. I will say, so far I've dived into some Mythic Plus dungeons, just 2s and 3s here and there. I'm going to get into some more today, but it's been easier. I feel like it hasn't been too bad. The entry has been, you know, a little bit, it's been more fun. I enjoy this dungeon rotation a little bit more. I know some people are hating on some of the dungeons in particular, and we'll get into how the dungeons are looking overall. But first off, let's see the most popular classes to play in the game right now. So here it is. If I open this chart real quick in a bigger form, we can look at who's currently on top or who's doing the best right now in terms of class play, right? So looking at these numbers, you just look at the color and you can tell which one's the biggest. That's the one that most people are playing. So at the front end, of course, you know, a Paladin, whether it's Retribution, Protection, or Holy, Paladin seems to be the class that people are playing the most. If I have to just eyeball test this right now, I would say Shaman is second along with Druid. And then we got Mistweaver Monk, maybe. Yeah, Mistweaver of the Monks is doing pretty damn good. Overall, it really looks like we got Priest, Paladin, Mage, and, oh, Vengeance Demon Hunter. Wow, look at Vengeance Demon Hunter. Holy crap, on the high end. So really, where you start to see the meta kick in is on the higher end of keys, so that's why I'm looking down here. Holy crap. Balanced Druid, pumping really hard. Fire Mage, pumping really hard. Then we see Discipline Priest, Vengeance Demon Hunter. Wow, that's a huge freaking difference there. And Unholy Death Knight not doing too bad either. That looks like a decent chunk Beastmastery. So, look, what this says to me, overall, the meta's not looking too bad. I mean, it seems somewhat balanced at the top end. If you remember last season, it was very, very heavily weighted to the meta. Waste of time chart. Jesus Christ, Libor, we're just checking it out. Man, this guy's hating. Looking at all these classes and how everyone's balancing out, yes, these things will change as we get deeper into the season, but as of right now, weeks 1 and 2, I feel like the meta is more balanced than it was in the previous season. Now, at the high end, you can see, I feel like if you look at a +2, basically this tells you what classes are being played the most. It doesn't give you a very big indication of which classes are being used the most. But then, as I said, when you get into the higher end keys, you start to get a sense of what the meta is going to be. Don't worry, I'm sure we'll have some wasted time videos to watch soon. Yeah, true. Beyond that, we can look deeper into depletion rates, because that'll give you an indication of how the dungeons are looking, which ones are considered to be easier. The more depletions you see, the harder that dungeon is considered to be. So looking right here, we can see Priory of the Sacred Flame seems to have the most depletions. It also seems to be run the most. People seem to really like that place. I personally do. I think it's a beautiful dungeon, so I like to run it as well. But in terms of depletions, yeah, it's seeing the most here. Next would be Operation Floodgate. That kind of makes sense, considering it's a new dungeon as well, so people don't know a lot about it. That one's seeing a lot of depletions. If we look across the board here, the easiest one, Darkflame Cleft. Surprisingly enough, that was the one that I felt like was going to annoy people out this season. That one's seeing the least depletions, so that would be, I guess, considered to be the easiest dungeon to run right now. Sam's best friend here, Sam's Bald Spot. Yes, somebody's named Sam's Bald Spot in my chat. Absolutely wonderful. Looking at these, again, Operation Floodgate, Priory of the Sacred Flame, seem to be... Cinderbrew Meadery also gets a decent amount of depletions there, but the easiest probably would be Darkflame Cleft, followed by... what is it, ML? Yeah, the Rookery and the Motherlode are probably pretty close behind those. So, yeah, the Rookery, Darkflame Cleft look like to be the easiest two you want to run if you want to get into those. Key distribution. Let's check out how this season's looking so far. Another interesting metric to look at is key levels being done. Key levels usually indicate an important milestone in gearing or achievement. So again, early in this season, we see the very, very high end of people pushing +12 keys. Obviously, a lot of people jumping in at Mythic +2 right now, as they should. One thing that Blizzard did was pushing kind of the reward system back down the chain a little bit, which helps you into the entry. Obviously, people love to do +7s and 8s. You're going to be able to get your best gear from your vault when you're doing those. So doing those are going to be some of the most popular ones. +6 seems to be very popular as well. It's a good jumping in point for a lot of people who are typically used to doing Mythic Plus. But overall, the distribution, it doesn't say much early in the season. I feel like you can really tell how difficult a season is once we look later in the season to see where people are currently standing. But overall, key levels seem to be all right. Completing the fastest keys to obtain hero track gear or the most efficient farm crest levels. Yep, that's what you'll typically see. Completing achievements and stuff like that. That's why you're going to see the distribution typically sitting around here. But overall, to me, the season, not a bad start. I feel like it's been decently easy. Blizzard just, as I said earlier, released a bunch of nerfs again, so we'll see how the season balances out towards the end here. But for now, Blizzard's really pushing this season to be an easier, more inviting season than the last season. That is all in terms of news.